Guns up, Poke fans. It's time for PokeCast. Broadcasting live at Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, located at 500 East McNeese Street in Lake Charles. Now, here's your host, Jim Gazzolo.
Marcus, early on that. All right, Will Wade is here.
Mr. Bill's Seafood Express.
Oh, are we good? Will Wade is here. How exciting is that for everybody? Everybody loves it. Terror.
Except for you.
An hour of utter terror coming up for me. But lots of things to talk about. Let's get into a couple of things. Baseball plays New Mexico State this weekend. 4 games, including a Monday game. I'll be at the Monday game, then drive over to Lamar. It should be exciting because I get to see you again. How great is that?
What time's the Monday game?
11 o'clock.
11 a.m. Okay.
11
Better
o'clock.
hope we don't get extra innings.
No, the game is a curfew because they got to fly out. So the game has to end by 2, I think.
Gotcha.
Perfect. It makes perfect sense. Cowboy Classic 2, Cowgirl Classic 2 is this weekend. Softball team is actually playing right now against Boise State. That's conference rival in beach volleyball, Boise State. I bring that up because the first beach volleyball game in the history of the school will be Friday. Are you going to go?
I'll be busy Friday. We got
preparation.
preparation.
You seem to appear at all these places. Maybe it's a game. Maybe it's Mr. Gaddy's for lunch, and I got to see you on Facebook or something. But you seem to pop up everywhere.
Well,
that's all.
It's hard to hit a moving target, so I try to keep on the move. Try to stay on the move.
You had a good line today in your press conference, by the way.
What was? Oh, you're gonna give me a compliment. How about this?
you had a good line.
First time for everything. What did I say today in my press conference?
Well, we asked you to comment on the incarnate word thing. You said I don't comment on things I don't know about. People made a lot of comments about me when they didn't have all the information, so I'm not going to do that on other people.
It's the truth.
Nice backhanded shot at people, though. I liked it. Very good. Very good. I appreciate stuff like that. Okay, let's start with the incarnate word thing.
I thought we were going to start on your haircuts again.
Why?
Did you not compliment my haircut? I got a haircut yesterday. Did you notice?
I really didn't, no, but it's lovely.
Why are you wearing a hat tonight? Did they screw your hair up at the barber college and you got to put a hat on now? Is that what you're doing?
Because
I like the Cowboy Club hat, though. Alan looks sharp, Alan.
We are giving away these hats with people who ask questions tonight to try to get more people in here so we don't have to talk about stuff like my hair.
Oh, okay. Well, I want you to know.
So if you get a question.
Listen, I hear you. I went to Man Cave yesterday. I got you a $50 gift certificate. All right.
That is, and I told you this, that is 10 months worth of haircuts
at the
barber college.
But you're going to get a real haircut. We're going to get you a real haircut. $50. Look, Jim.
My head isn't worth $50.
$50, you can get a haircut. You can. There's other when you got to log in online, and you can go in, and there's other accessories you can add to your haircut. So I gave you enough to pick up. The haircut's $26. Then you can pick up 2 of the $10 options, maybe a shave, maybe ear wax. I don't know, or the ear hair, all that stuff. I don't know, but whatever you want, $50. My gift to you. You always talk about my salary on the paper, so here you go. I spent some of my salary to help you out.
I greatly appreciate it. I won't. The problem.
Listen,
you started with the problem of logging in to get on. I can't log in.
Yeah,
so
you
that
can.
ain't gonna happen.
Listen. Now you have to report back to us. We need after you get your haircut there, we need a compare and contrast between Man Cave and the barber school.
Okay, I'll do that. That'll be exciting for everybody.
We're going to need an extensive report back on the difference in the experience. They'll even give you alcohol at Man Cave. Did you know that? There's a bar that's connected to it. You can go in there and get you a little,
And we've gone through 5 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
When's the next time you're due to get your haircut? I mean, how quickly are we going to be able to get this?
I may save this. How's this?
Can you save it for the Gatsby?
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to save it to the Friday before the Gatsby just for you.
So that's a confirmation that we're coming to Gatsby.
No, it's
a confirmation.
It's a possibility that I'm anticipating an injury that will make me miss the Gatsby. I'll move my head when she's picking up my ear and I'll end it.
We're gonna have you with a great haircut from Man Cave coming into the Gatsby in your tux. That's what we're talking about right now, right?
I hope we're not talking about that.
We've come a long way in a month. We couldn't even get you in the Gatsby. I mean, we've come a long way in a month. This is good.
Moving on.
This is good.
Can
I get a thank you?
I thank you. I thanked you twice, but
okay,
you just talk over the thank yous.
Making sure.
You just talk over the thank
I
yous.
can't wait to hear about
It's kind of like today when somebody's asking you a question, you talk over their poor guy's questions.
Only 2 people asked me questions today.
Yeah,
you and Travis.
one of them, by the way, asks you questions that you've already answered.
Yeah, not you.
Your last question, he asks you with the same 3 words that you ended your last one with to start them. I won't say who, though.
Well, there's only 2 people in there asking questions.
There were, yes.
You scared the poor student reporter today.
No, I did not. You scared the woman.
You scared the poor student reporter today. She had to ask questions outside the.
All I told her was, when you walked in, I said, "Please be professional. She's trying to learn journalism."
Yeah. And then she had to.
And then she had to get up and leave. She had to leave. She was so frightened. She had to leave. That's all.
All right.
Okay.
I
want to remind people a couple
care of the Gatsby, so we're in good shape. Well, we can move on with the show.
We can move on. Yes.
Yep.
I want to remind everybody the 2 student buses are leaving with crust pizza for the game on Lamar. A chance to possibly win the conference that night.
Yeah, did you work out all the math today?
I've worked out every math you want.
You
what do
and
you want to know?
were a little bit off. I mean, you guys were back and forth on the math today.
What do you want to know?
I want to know all the Chambers, my assistant's here. He would love to know all the scenarios and everything because you guys were not very sure today when we were talking.
The key number is 5.
Yeah, it's how many games we got left.
No, that's how many losses somebody has. So if somebody like Nichols were to run the table, they would have 5.
Everybody's got 4.
Oh, they have 5.
Nichols has 4.
No, I'm saying, but you're okay. So you can't get to 5 is my point.
Right, we can't get to 5 losses. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you explain. I'm sorry.
Okay, yes. Now, because of Saturday, if you win Saturday, the number goes to 4, which means you will tie all 3 against you. But if Corpus beats Lamar, Lamar will then have 5. Corpus would be the 4 you would trade with, and then you would get the double bye because you would be over them because you beat them twice, so you'd be one of the top 2 seeds.
So if we win Saturday, let's make this simple. If we win Saturday and Corpus beats Lamar,
yes,
we're one of the 2 seeds.
Yeah. Or if Nichols were to lose to Commerce.
And that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen now. No.
Wasn't going to happen before, but it's not going to happen now.
And then if you win the next 2, you will most likely be in.
What do you mean?
You would most likely be the conference champions on Monday night.
If we win.
Because the number would, if you win the next 2, you'll be the conference champions because your number would be 3 and everybody's got more than 3 losses.
Gotcha. So if we win this weekend, we sweep this weekend, we win the conference.
You're going to be, in all likelihood, yes. Now, the conference won't come out with that because they say mathematically numbers-wise, but if you look at who they got to play and everybody's got to play, that's what I mean. That's where I look at it.
Gotcha.
So that's all. So it doesn't matter if you win.
What?
It doesn't matter as long as you keep winning.
Yeah, as long as we win. Yeah, I thought you said it didn't matter if we win. I was going to say, I thought that's why we played the game.
No, as long as you keep winning, it will eventually knock everybody off.
Right.
But you'd rather do it yourself, like you would knock Lamar off on Monday night. That would be better for you.
Look at Chad. Chad is just phenomenal. You know, I ordered my normal shrimp, but since you don't eat seafood, we got you a peanut butter and jelly. And some cookies. And some cookies. We didn't want you to feel left out up here. We got you a peanut butter and jelly. Look at that.
Yeah, they were really good peanut butter and jelly when he last gave it to me. Everybody loved this. Yes.
Yeah. Look at that. What a world! You get a haircut and you get a peanut butter and jelly all in the same day.
Oh, my life. Also, the Cowboy Club still has bus tickets available for 3 p.m. They will be giving away. They do have tickets they're giving away today. If anybody's here, I don't think anybody was here that isn't going to the game already, but they will be having dinner on their trip too. Now you got me all mixed up with dinner and everything here. Back to other things. We're also supposed to sponsor.
They're having dinner at Papados.
Yes. They cordially invited me, but I will be at the baseball game, so I'll be eating an Arby's on the way out of town. That's how we do it in the sports world. Okay, let's talk about this.
Bonnett's going to have hot dogs for y'all on Saturday.
Yeah, and hopefully some will be there by the time the first game is over because usually what happens is they're all gone. Literally, they're all gone when I walk in the building.
I may have to go get one, try one out.
Yeah, you're good at that. You going to pay for this one?
It's in the media room. I don't have to pay. You pay for your food in the media room?
No.
You want me to tell everybody what media is the acronym for? Everybody know what the media is the acronym for? Mooch every day in abundance. That's all they do. Eat all the free food, do all that stuff. Mooch every day in abundance. That's what media stands for.
In our next segment, we will. Okay, let's start with this though. The suspensions came down since we last talked to you.
Yeah.
Total of 8, 4 for Incarnate Word, 4 for Commerce. You didn't want to comment on it before, but now you can, because how does that affect you? Because you've seen who's going to be missing.
Well,
how does that play in your guys' game?
I mean, they're missing Alex Anderson, who's their second leading scorer. They're missing their point guard, Davis. And Glover's probably one of their better bigs, or has been playing as one of their better bigs. So, I mean, there's certainly some very good players, but, I mean, it's not like they're going to be bringing the ball up the court with a center. I mean, they've got basically the 4 of the 5 guys that they started against us the first time are all available and playing. And then, the first game, one of their best big guy, or their most productive big guy, was hurt, and so they had to play Glover more, and now that kid's back, Sean Robinson, so he's back. It's not like they're just going to come in here with a terrible team. Now they're going to be at full strength, no, but they're still going to have a competitive, good group, and it doesn't it doesn't kneecap them, I guess is what it's saying. I mean, they're able to put out lineups that are not too non-traditional.
And you made the point today, though, that also you can get a bump from a game or 2 games, because these kids are going to have something to prove.
It'll be an us against the world mentality. I'm sure they feel like their teammates shouldn't have been suspended as long as they were, and there's no doubt about that. I mean, it's hard to sustain that, but certainly in a one game setting, I think they can. They can get that and will get that, and they'll be ready to go on. They'll be ready to go on Saturday for sure.
You doing okay there?
Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure. But for you guys, and you said today it's really about you guys. You can't take that lightly, because oftentimes it goes the other way.
They beat Lamar.
Yeah. I
mean, they've beaten Lamar. They beat Lamar at home a couple weeks ago. And so, I mean, they're certainly capable. They've got good players. They've got older players, veteran players, guys who have been around college basketball for a while. And when they make shots, they're very dangerous and very good. And so, it's a dangerous game. It's a tough game, and one that we need to be prepared for, and make sure that that we do what we do, and make sure that we prepare how we're supposed to prepare, and not look at it like, oh, they're down a few guys and we're just going to be able to kind of do what we do.
Was that your own personal waiter?
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure. Just seems like people serve you.
What did you think about the suspensions? What's your opinion on that?
I thought they were appropriate.
You're paid to have an opinion. I'm not.
I thought they were appropriate for what they suspended. I might have suspended almost everybody involved to some extent. I would suspend coaches, because I think you're in charge of your own team, and I would also fine Incarnate Word for not handling the situation.
Yeah, for game management. That was my point.
Yeah, I mean, right. I think those are things that if you're going to set an example, you got to go to who's in charge of the place that allowed that to fester, because during all the video, I only saw one police officer on the whole court the whole time.
I didn't see one, but
I saw one guy who was completely outnumbered. So
right.
But I think that is it. And then I'm not sure in today's society if we don't do away with handshakes, because they've become ridiculous.
Well, the NBA does away with it. NBA, you just wave at the other guys.
Wave at the other guy,
if you want to talk
away.
To somebody, you go on the court
and
talk to them and keep it moving. I agree, it's a little antiquated, but.
It seems like we're doing something. We're trying to force feed something that isn't there.
Correct, and you're trying. Yeah, exactly right. And you're just putting folks in harm's way, but
for no reason. Get everybody off the court, because tensions are always high. So that's my opinion. But with that in mind, going back to this week as a bye week, you didn't play Monday. You got to rest up a little bit. Is it kind of a good thing at this point in time to get that, because you're going to have days off between the end of the year and the start of the tournament, so you're going to have to kind of adjust to that too?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the bye week came at a good time. We've been burning and going for a while here, and with only 3 weeks left in the regular season, I thought it was probably the perfect time for the bye for us. And we in the past had to practice a little bit more in the bye. Today was our first practice coming off the bye. We certainly looked like it. We need to be better next couple of days. But, I think that we took advantage of it. We got rested and we're healthy. And that's the main point this part of the season. We got to stay that way, stay with clear minds and fresh legs as best we can.
Yeah, it's just an interesting time to do it because it's later in the year than most people's buys.
Well, I think Southeastern and some of them have a bye this Monday. I think there's a couple teams that have a bye that have a bye this coming Monday, and so that's even more probably more advantageous.
Well, we got a question before we take a break. Yes.
All right, Coach. I know that.
State your name first, sir.
Will Smith.
There we go.
All right. Hey, Coach. No, Matthew Bonnet. Coach, all right, I know you're a big analytical guy and numbers guy and everything. Kind of explain, if you would, how important the net ratings is when it comes in terms to seeding for the tournament and possible at-large bids.
Yeah, the net rating is huge. That's the NCAA's basically their sorting system. And, you first off, you got to win the game, but then you've got to win the game by certain margins and be able to have certain efficiencies, which allow you to move up in the net rankings. We're 59 in the net right now. You really need to get in the top 40 if you want to have a chance at an at-large. We're 63 in Ken Palm, which is another one of the metrics that they use. But where we lost our ground in the metrics was when we were winning some of these conference games early on. We weren't winning by the margins we needed to win by, and so that really hurt us. The last couple conference games is when we've really won by margins that would help us in the net. So, the first step is you got to win, and the second step is you got to win by the proper margin. And we do, for the first time all year, we have our defense in the top 100 in the country, our offense in the top 100 in the country. Both of them are actually top 80 in the country, which is very, very difficult to do and really, really good. Really, really good sign for our program. Coming off these last couple defensive performances where we've been really, really good.
We're going to take our first break here with what will now be renamed Dinner with Will from Mr. Bill's on 92.9 The Lake.
Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, located at 500 East McNeese Street in Lake Charles, is locally owned and operated. Don't forget to check out Mr. Bill's Seafood Express daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Mr. Bill's Seafood Express also has live music every Thursday and Saturday night. Chad Poussaint and Jason Giller, the owners of Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, proudly support the McNeese Cowboys. Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, 500 East McNeese Street in Lake Charles, says go Pokes.
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Keelan Construction. Keelan Construction is South Louisiana's leading vertical and horizontal general contractor. Keelan courageously pursues complex challenges to advance further the life and culture of our staff and the communities we serve. And also brought to you by Southwest Beverage. Rooted in the community of Southwest Louisiana since 1954, Southwest Beverage has been a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations. Bud Light and Southwest Beverage has been a loyal supporters of McNeese State University for over 30 years by providing athletic scholarships as well as scholarships for students. We pride ourselves on being the premier beverage supplier in Southwest Louisiana and will continue to be here for many years to come. Thank you for your support of our brands and McNeese Athletics, and as always, go Pokes.
We're back from Mr. Bill's on 92.9 The Lake. The PokeCast, or Dinner with Will, is just being renamed. Lots of things coming up this weekend. Big game at home this weekend, 4 o'clock, Incarnate Word. Then to Lamar as McNeese gets back on the court after a bye week. Anybody who has a question, we have hats for you if you ask a question, and we have a question right now. State your name and who you are.
Hey, Coach. This is Michael McLaughlin, the Director of Marketing. I got a question. I'd like you to talk a little bit about the importance of seeing Poke Nation come out and travel to away games and what their support means to you and the team, especially talk about the student bus trips coming up. What does that mean to see students come out and support the Bayou Bandits on the road?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I think we've had great road crowds everywhere we've been. Houston Christian, we took that place over. I thought Nichols, we had a tremendous crowd. We had the Cowboy Club bus, and then we had the student bus. And, at the end of the day, our guys are student athletes, so they play for their fellow students. They play for everybody at the university, and to get support from students, and they had the rally towels, and to have those folks come on the road and support us makes a big difference. And it makes a big difference when you can turn a road environment into like a home environment, like we did at Houston Christian, or like a neutral environment, kind of like we did at in Thibodeau. But the student support, our student support at home has been great. We set the student attendance record with 711, which was huge, and so their support's been tremendous, and we're hopeful that they'll get on the bus and come see us at Lamar, and then keep coming out to the games as we come down the home stretch here and try to win the conference title.
Talking to some players about this subject, a lot of them, Garcia especially today.
What did he have to say?
He had a lot to say about a lot of things, but his main thing about this was, I thought interesting, because he came from junior college where nobody watched.
You had to watch him online.
That's it. And he said it was this is exciting and new, and it's kind of nice to see because you're actually playing for something else. But talk about that embracement, because your players who have only been here for months right now have kind of embraced this.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we went up in the stands and took a picture with everybody at Houston Christian. I don't think their coach was real happy. They were down there on the court. We were up there celebrating. And our guys went in the stands after we won in Thibodeau. And so, look, man, I mean, they're appreciative of it. They don't, look, people take their time and hard-earned money to come follow us on the road, and the least we can do is give them a good effort and try to win and show our appreciation for them, for them showing up and for them taking the time. And so, our guys understand that. Our guys have been places where, DJ Richards was at UTSA. Nobody came to those games. Yeah. And so they're appreciative.
Well, they all spoke about that there was not a lot of following, but all of a sudden they're getting all this following from guys that didn't know them before, and they just seem to really appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt. They're appreciative of it, and we understand that it can go away if we don't show our appreciation. We don't keep winning. Everybody likes a winner, and so we got to keep it going. But our guys certainly have a healthy appreciation for everybody that travels and everybody that comes on the road with us.
Okay, let's go back to last Saturday for just a minute. The Nichols game, maybe your best defensive game as far as in the conference goes, but you seem to answer the question about, because they were the last legitimate team that was behind you that could have maybe caught you. You kind of answered that pretty quick. How important was that to kind of send a message, or do you think you sent one?
I don't know. I mean, like I said earlier today, I think it's, it was one game, and we certainly played better than they did on Saturday. They missed some shots. I think we rattled them a little bit with our pressure, and we turned them over quite a bit. But that doesn't mean that's how it's going to go next Saturday when they come play us at our place. So I think there's some give and take. There's some give and take on that, and there's some. I don't want to read more into it than what it was. It was one good performance. We didn't play that great offensively, especially in the first half. We missed a bunch of layups, a bunch of transition opportunities, but it was one good performance on the road against a quality team. They are a good team. They've got two of the top 5 players analytically in the league, just like we do. Wells and Shoemaker 1 and 2, but 3 is West, and we did a really good job on him. 4 is McFarland, and then 5 fluctuates between Deontay Smith and Johnson at New Orleans, if you look at everything just statistically and analytically speaking. And so, I think that it was a solid performance on the road, but we've got to move on from that, because we're going to play them again at home, which will be a tougher game, and they'll make adjustments, and we'll make adjustments, and it doesn't mean it's just going to go just like that. They did miss some open shots. We gave them some middle drives, and we it's not like we played perfect. There's some things that we can certainly improve on as we move into playing them the next time. But it was an important win. I mean, look, everybody in the program knew, our players knew. We win that. To your point, we're going to be hard to chase down. I mean, you got to really track us down now. If we lose that, it's a race.
Well, there's a chance that they can do something on their own. Now it has to be you guys.
Yeah, now it's in our court.
Yeah, it's in your court. the one thing that I find interesting is before the Southeastern game, you were telling everybody, this is coming, watch out, this is coming. You lose the Southeastern, you're fairly calm afterwards, to us anyway.
I was calm.
But you were proven right. They kind of learned from that, and they've accepted that. Talking to them, they're all like, it took that to get us going. But I still see some things in the first halves where you guys don't start quite as especially offensively, like you'd like.
Who you telling? I mean, we don't finish as well. Right? It takes us a minute to the way I look at it is we kind of dip our toe in the water instead of just diving in. Sometimes you just got to dive in and figure out how to swim. And we'd kind of dip our toe in, try to walk around in the kiddie pool, and then you guys got to go. You got to dive in the deep end and get to swimming. And I think we try to mess around with it too much for my liking. We got to just be more aggressive. Now, give Nichols credit. They trapped us off the tip, which most people don't do, and that kind of caught us by surprise, which was a good coaching move by Boog. And then, we missed – JG missed 2 free throws.
Yeah.
Shoemate, I mean, we started off 0 of 4 from the free throw line. We had chances there to kind of get going on the offensive end and excuse me, and couldn't make free throws and get us going. So that hurt us a little bit as well. And you just got to be able to capitalize and get some momentum. Once we get the momentum and the wind behind our sails, we're off. But you don't want to get off to slow starts, and we can't afford to keep getting off to slow starts.
Yeah, it seems like you need something to kickstart you going every time, whether it be a shoemate dunk or a big play or something. You need something to kind of get rolling before you get into rhythm.
Well, we take so many tough shots early. We settle for what they want to give us early instead of taking what we need to go get, and so that makes it tough and frustrating. We got to get better looks, and we spent some time today trying to run some new offense and work on some new things to make sure that we get a little bit higher quality looks, a little bit better looks.
Yeah, but you will have noticed a change in your kind of attitude as a team since Southeastern. What about in practice? Do they listen more? Do you notice that, or a sense of urgency?
I mean, I think we've been better. I think our guys understand that. We're getting down to it at this point. We're less than a month before Selection Sunday. Today's the 21st of February. The Thursday first-round games in the NCAA tournament are the 21st of March. Yeah. So, you're right at a month out from playing in the NCAA tournament if we can get there. And so it's it's getting down to it, and we want to make the most of every day. And so I think our guys understand. I talked to them today. We've got 14 to 16 practices left all year. We're guaranteed 6 games, 5 regular season, 1 in the tournament. That's all we're guaranteed left is the 6 games and the 14 to 16 practices. So we got to make the most of every one of those and every bit of that. And we talked about that today before practice.
So as you go in, I want to get into, after the break, I want to get into kind of your philosophy as you come down the stretch here. But as of right now,
our philosophy is to win.
I get that. that. But don't encourage him. But for right now, you can't be in much better position than you are in.
Well, we could.
We could be. But I want to get to this because we talked a little bit about this today. A lot of people are patting you on the back about 23 wins because they took the number 23 because that's what you said. But I'm still holding you to 23 plus 1. Okay. Correct?
Yeah.
So are you going to celebrate 23 plus 1?
No.
Why not?
Because we just did what we said we were going to do.
Well, people were patting you on the back this weekend saying, hey, he got his 23 wins. And I said, no, that's not. It was 23 plus 1.
You don't think we're going to get the plus 1?
I think you're probably favored to get one somewhere along the line, yeah. But the point being is you set a very high standard for a team that nobody knew about. Yeah. When did you believe you were going to get here that quickly, and when did you believe the team believed it?
I thought we'd win 23 this year. I really believe. When I got up there and said that, I believed it. Now, I didn't think we'd win as many in the non-conference as we did. I thought we would, get going in conference. I figured we could go 15-3 or better in conference, and I thought if we could go, you win a game in the conference. I thought we could get to 23 that way, piece it together that way, and maybe go 8-5 in the non-conference, something like that. I had no idea we were going to go 11-2 in the non-conference. So, that certainly put us ahead of schedule. But, I look, when I got up here at the press conference, I knew we had some of these kids coming.
Yeah.
I knew, I knew.
You told us who was coming.
I knew we were in pretty good shape, and I'm not one to shy away from what I believe, and so I felt like we were going to win 23 all year. There was no doubt in my mind that we were going to be able to accomplish that. Now, how we've done it or how we did it is, I didn't think we'd accomplish it with 5 games left in the regular season.
Okay, well, here's my
Is that
point.
fair?
Because you promised 23 plus 1, correct?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But you're only at 15.
Oh.
So for you to get to 23 plus 1, you have to get to the Sweet 16.
Okay.
So that's what I'm.
Okay.
If you're going to hold my hair to a standard, I think we should hold you to that.
I like
standard.
that. That's good.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the NCAA tournament with Coach Will Wade after this.
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Southwest Louisiana Credit Union. Southwest Louisiana Credit Union now offers an account just for McNeese students. It's the blue and gold checking account. All it takes is $5 to get you in. You get a free debit card, online and mobile banking, and access to a smart ATMs. There's no service charge. You can even get free financial counseling. That's why Southwest Louisiana Credit Union is now the official credit union for McNeese students and McNeese athletics. Find out more at swlacu.com. To open a blue and gold checking account, go by Southwest Louisiana Credit Union at 4056 Ryan Street, about a block away from campus. Membership is required. As the oldest athletic booster organization at McNeese, the McNeese Cowboy Club is proud to continue providing support to all McNeese athletes for 49 years. We meet every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. in the Cowboy Club room located over the south end zone with talks from coaches and other leaders in McNeese athletics. Come join us and discover what being a McNeese athletic booster is all about. And go Pokes.
We're back at Mr. Bill's for half hour number 2 of the Will Wade special. Will eats in front of everybody.
Why are you so? I
Okay, I want to say this.
Everybody's eating dinner. You cannot come here and eat dinner and do the show. What's so? You're eating the peanut butter and jelly.
Yes, but I thank you for that. I want to point this out.
My daughter had that for lunch today, but that's all right.
That's okay.
I packed that in her lunch this morning.
My wife's out of town. My wife's out of town for the rest of the week, so this is actually the best meal I will have all week.
Oh, that's good,
without question. I just want to point out I can't speak on what you're eating there because I don't eat that, but this is one of the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches I've ever had.
Oh, the boiled shrimp
really
was tremendous. The potato salad's tremendous. It's all good.
But I'm just pointing. This is good.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the cookies.
I know.
Okay, we're back now. You do this to me.
I don't understand why you don't think I should be able to eat while we're up here doing the show.
I'm good with it. I just think it's funny.
Why is it funny?
McNeese softball up 1-0 over Boise State.
Good. There we go.
Nearly going.
I said good for the Cowgirls.
And that is actually a conference rival when it comes to
I know,
beach
you said
volleyball.
that. You used that joke earlier.
I know.
You used that joke earlier.
Top of the third. There we go. Okay, so top of the third, 1-0 McNeese. Coming back
you
to
going to go cover the game after this?
No, I'm actually going home.
Oh.
My daughter's got to eat, so now I'm going to have to figure out what to feed her, but that'll be fine.
That's all right.
No.
You should have brought her to the show.
My people don't know what I do for a living, so we'll keep it that way. When we get to talking about...
Did you tell everybody to tune into Poke Nation so they could see your new sport coat? That Bonnet loaned you?
No, I did not do that.
Did you tell them you were a month early for St. Patrick's Day?
No, we didn't do that.
Everybody's got to tune into Poke Nation so you see Jim in his new sport coat that Bonnet loaned him because he left his old normal sport coat he wears every day in his wife's car, and she was in New Orleans. The sport coat didn't exactly match his shirt he had on, but hey, that's all right.
Just terrible. It matched the one I usually wear.
Yeah, but you weren't wearing it. You had to borrow Bonnet's jacket. Vinette's jacket was very nice, much nicer than the one you usually wear.
Thank you. Okay, so
but it's not as nice as the tux you're going to wear to the Gadsby.
Okay, I did have a question for you, though, concerning your gift to me. I have a question for the gift to me.
Oh, you do?
When you go to get your haircut done, which looks nice.
Thank you.
What are the extra accessories you want me to spend the money on in that? What do you get?
I do the every other time, not every time. I do the where they pull the hair out of my nose and my ear. I've forgotten what it's called. I don't know exactly what it's
Painful?
called. No.
How is that?
No, not painful at all. Feels great. Opens your breathing up.
Is that why they give you the alcohol?
Well, I don't drink.
But is that why they make the alcohol available for guys so they can give through that?
I guess.
All right. The NCAA tournament coming up. Now, you don't want to talk about it in general, but I want to ask you some questions about what you see overall in the country and where McNeese might fit in. But the rise of mid-majors the last couple of years, and I think we're going to see more mid-majors this year go further in the tournament than before as well. Obviously,
what's your theory on that?
Oh, the portal. I think the portal hurts big schools in some ways that they can't get the 4 or 5 years together with kids. That kind of helps you in an NCAA tournament. And they're thinking maybe we're done after this week anyway, so I think that's part of it. I think the coaching has kind of changed a little bit, so where there's some better younger coaches there than the stable of older coaches. So I think there's a couple of things. But nobody cares about my theory. What's your theory behind it, and do you agree or disagree?
I don't know if I agree. I mean, I don't have it up. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I mean,
go with your gut here, not a data thing. Go with your gut.
A lot of it, this sounds so coach speak, but it's the truth. 80% of the tournament is who you're matched up with.
Yeah.
Like if I see the bracket and I could say, all right, that 13 seeds have got a good matchup with that 4. That 12's that's 11's got a good, like, a lot of it's the matchup. Like one year when I was at VCU, we were a 10 seed and we played Oregon State in a 7-10 game. Now, the NCAA seeded us the 10 and Oregon State the 7. You can look this up. This is one of the few times it's happened with those seed lines. We were like a 3.5-point favorite over Oregon State. We were better than Oregon State. And so, I mean, just the matchup, man, we clocked them. I mean, we beat them double digits in Oklahoma City. And so, a lot of times it's one of my years at LSU, we were in the 8-9 game with St. Bonaventure, and we beat the brakes off St. Bonaventure in the first round. But we were supposed to be a 7, but part of their seeding guidelines or whatever, we ended up being the best 8. Mm-hmm. And Bonaventure was supposed to be a 10, but because of their seeding guidelines, they ended up being the worst 9. So really, we were it was an 8-9 game, but we were a 7. So a lot of it's just the matchup with. We were going to beat Bonaventure. We're just more athletic. We're just better. And so a lot of it's the actual matchup and who you're playing as opposed to, look, I know,
now, is that the committee formula you think is off, or
what?
Is that the committee's formula?
No, they have scheduling guidelines. I mean, they've got all these guidelines they have to follow when they bracket and seed everybody and all this stuff. So I mean, there's a ton of guidelines that they have to go by, and then sometimes they got to maneuver people around to fit the guidelines. Like BYU is going to make it this year. Well, they can't play on a Sunday, so they can't be in a region that's on a Sunday. And so I mean, there's just a lot of stuff like that. And if you play a certain amount of games on a certain court, then those guys can't play there. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and it makes it, that's what makes it fun and interesting. So my point is, you can sit here and pontificate about all that right now, but until you see the bracket, you don't know. You give me the bracket on Sunday, I'll say, boom, 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 and boom, have a good chance to win. Boom's going to get killed. This team's got two bad matchups here. If they were, you just can look at it and kind of get a feel for things.
Well, that's what I try, because fans ask me all the time.
I know what sort of teams. I was talking to Heath about Coach Schroyer about this earlier this week. I know what sort of teams, if we drew them, who are in kind of our range, if we were to make it, that we got a puncher's chance. And one of our teams that I was dying to get, they've gone on a swoon, so they're going to get seeded way lower. I mean, there was a team that, and I don't want to get into all that, but there's some teams that if we get seeded with them, it's going to be a fun trip for the first time since 2002 if we make it, but it'll be a quick trip. We're going to be in and out of that thing. So, a lot of it's just based on
the matchup.
Yeah, the matchups.
And I try to tell fans that because fans have always said, hey, what if we're 12? What if we're 11? I said, it really doesn't matter. It matters who you play.
Exactly right.
And kind of it matters who you play, where you play, and who you play the next round because that's what sets you up to what possibly could happen.
It's all about the matchup and who you play.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters.
So you care more about Selection Sunday than you do all these other bracketologies that are going on right now.
Correct.
But fans love it. Fans just absolutely eat
it up.
So
that's a cottage industry.
Yes, that's what. Fans eat it
up.
Joey
Brackets teaches a class at St. Joe's about it.
Does he really?
Yeah. Did you know he's the color commentator for St. Joe's Radio? You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Joe Lenardi?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, he's a color commentator for St. Joe's basketball.
He's not the.
He's in the development office at St. Joe's.
He's not the Hawk.
No, he's not the Hawk. The Hawk will never die. They flap that thing everywhere.
They clap everywhere. That's terrible. That would be a terrible job.
It's on scholarship. It's a full scholarship to be the Hawk and flap.
It's a terrible job.
Well, that's a full scholarship.
What if you're down 50-23 or something and you're still doing that? You're the only guy in the building that cares, and you still got to do that. That's a terrible job, I think. All right, so as we look at the mid-majors, why do you think mid-majors have gone further over the last couple of years? Do you have a theory, or?
I don't. My theory would be that they've gotten favorable matchups, but I don't know that. That'd be my theory.
All right, I'm intrigued by that, and
I'd have to look at who you.
Well, San Diego State.
They're not a mid-major.
They shouldn't be ranked as a mid-major with their size and that, but
correct.
They come out of a mid-major. The Big East is still considered a mid-major. They're not a real Big East conference.
No, the Big East isn't the mid-major.
Well, it's not a P6. It's not a P5.
Yeah, it is. The P6.
It's a P6, but not a P5.
Come on, Jim. The basketball. The Big East is better than Coach. The Big East is one of the premier conferences in the country. The national champion came from the Big East last year.
And Villanova's in the Big East. Yeah,
correct.
I agree.
No, it is one of the 3 best conferences in basketball.
Over? Mm-hmm. Okay, what's your 3 best conferences?
The Big 12.
Okay, that's number 1.
The Big East.
Okay.
And the analytics would say the Big 10. I would say the SEC, but the analytics would say the Big 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you like the Big 10?
Huh?
You always crumb on my Big 10.
Not a big fan.
Why?
Just not a big fan.
Not a big city guy?
No, those are in college. Have you been to Champaign? That's a college town.
Yes, I've been to Champaign.
That's a college town.
Okay. Yes, it is.
There's some college towns in there.
There's some good ones.
Ann Arbor's a college town.
That's 40 miles outside of Detroit, but yeah.
Yeah, so Norman, Oklahoma's a college town. It's 40 miles outside Oklahoma City.
Well, we got a little difference of opinion on what a big city is, because coming from Chicago, I don't know if I'd go with Oklahoma City as a big city.
I got you. That's fair.
That's fair. Okay.
That's fair.
That's just pointing that out to you.
That's fair.
No, but I think it's fun to see other teams come in. I think it's fun to see the Florida Atlantics and all that come in.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think it makes for more interesting things. I don't know if it makes for better ratings, though.
No, it doesn't make for better ratings.
That's the problem.
CBS wants one thing. They want the biggest brands they can get.
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
And that's apparently what they're going to do with football now, because they just have basically told the world there's only 4 conferences. And the 4 conferences, no matter who they are and how bad their champion is, they're getting the 4 seeds in football. So It's their world. When we come back, we'll finish up with Will Wade this week on Will and Dinner Time here at Mr. Bill's.
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Twisted Vines. They offer residential and commercial lawn and landscaping maintenance, irrigation and drainage installation and repairs, outdoor landscaping, lighting, holiday and event light installation also with 3D drawings. Contact Ryan Boyd at 337-274-2267 or email info@twistedvineslc.com. Like them on Facebook and follow on Instagram at twistedvineslc. If you mention you heard the Twisted Vines on the PokeCast, you will receive a 10% discount off your purchase. And Pompelli Tire, official tire store of McNeese Athletics. Experts in tires, EV-specific tires as well. We do more than just tires, mechanical work as well. A full-time mechanic is on site at all times to help in your needs.
That's why I try not to eat during this. I got stuck with peanut butter in my mouth now. All right, so last 14 minutes here. Where do you want to go with college basketball?
Wherever you want to go.
All right, so here we go with this. When you talk about the mid-majors, but you also talk about the big schools, I get the money factor in that. But when you get somebody like you in, and then you go out and go 23-3, and then you try to schedule next year, how do you schedule next year, and what do you have to do to get guys here?
I mean, we got major scheduling problems. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, we don't have any games. You should see the responses we get when we send out questions for games. That's a problem we're going to have to deal with in the offseason.
You have UL, though, right, next year?
At UL. That's the only game we have on the schedule.
So that's it?
That's it.
Is that why would you like to bring another multi-team?
We've looked at it. I mean, we're going to have to look at any option we can find to get games.
So is that because you're scaring them off?
What do you mean?
Well, the 23-3?
Yeah, I mean, people. Yeah, I mean, they think
big
we're
schools
good.
aren't going to play you because they could lose. After you beat Michigan, they're kind of worried about we don't want to pay you and lose. But in practice,
the big schools, it makes sense to play us. They got about a 95% chance to beat us when they buy us.
Yeah.
And our numbers are good. You can manipulate the net by playing us. They're not very smart by not playing us, but most coaches don't think like that. Like when I was down the road, I used to buy all good teams. We bought Belmont, who was good. We bought Ohio U. I bought the best teams I could find. We bought Liberty every year because it's all about manipulating the formulas, but most people don't see it that way. So I got to find somebody that sees it that way and be willing to buy us.
You got to find a lot of people then if you don't have anybody.
I got to find 3.
Well, there you go. But you'd like to do a multi-team though.
No, I didn't say that. We may have to. We've been talking about that. I mean, there's a lot of logistics that go into it. There's just a lot of other things that go into it. But
well, Tech should want to play you.
Who?
Tech, Louisiana Tech.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's part of winning. See, shouldn't win. That's the problem with winning.
Yeah. Hey, look.
If you were 15 and 10 or something.
We'd rather have that problem than the opposite.
It would be. That is true. That is true. Okay, you're still recruiting now for next year, and I love this part about you that you'll recruit during the week. You don't care. By week, you take it. You go on a recruiting trip. When you go on recruiting
Before I
now,
got on my recruiting trip, though, I took my time and spoke to you on the telephone.
Yes, you did. It's very nice.
To answer your questions.
It's very nice. I didn't realize how you were traveling. Then that wouldn't have been so nice to you. I thought you were probably getting in a car and driving somewhere, but I didn't realize you were going first class everywhere. But in this case, when you go to recruit now with McNeese at 23-3 compared to last year, are you getting in more doors? Are you finding out it's easier to get into? Or are you finding at least they know about you?
I mean, people know about us, sure, but I mean, we go in kind of the same doors we've been going in. We don't, a lot of the same folks who have helped us, who we have good relationships with. We tap into those people, so we're not trying to go out and see a bunch of new folks. And I've always found the people that come, if they're coming because they just heard about us and we're 23-3, they're coming for the wrong reasons. They're coming because they see us winning and they don't understand what goes into winning and they just want to be a part of the winning. We want people that have some substance to them, that understand what they're coming into, that understand that, I've talked to the kids about this. Like, you can drink the water, but you better remember you didn't dig the well. Like, there's a lot of other people that did a lot of hard work to to make this happen. And so you got to be very careful to make sure that you're getting the right guys and the people that want to come for the right reasons, and the people that are appreciative to be here and not feel like you're doing them a favor. Because, yeah, we can go get a higher caliber kid, but it still has to all fit together properly. This isn't just a talent grab. It's all got to fit together properly. And to me, nobody wants to talk about this like it's cool to go on and, I went and saw the kid Monday and all that, and he's a damn good player and all that sort of stuff. But the most important kids we got are the kids we got on our roster that can come back next year. And so, that's the ones and we're with them every day. And so that's the ones that, I want to spend most of my time with, because, look, if we get DJ Richards back and Javon Garcia back and Mike Saunders back and Omar Cooper back and Christian Shoemate back, if we get those guys back, to hell with whoever else we bring in. We've got a kid, Alan Breed, who's here now. If we get, we got those guys back, go pick up a couple spare parts in recruiting some other places, but you got a damn good team. And so, to me, the number one thing is, making sure we get back the guys that, look, they may get better offers other places. They may want to leave, and I'm all about that. I'll help them pack their bag. I'm with it. That's great. But if we can bring a majority of those guys back, everybody gets, all excited about the shiny new toys. Well, the guys we got are pretty good. They're really good. And another year where we're another year with player development, another year with some of that sort of stuff, and they can make another big jump. And so I saw something this week. There's 10 teams in the country that brought in 7 or more transfers. Us and Utah State are the only 2 that are doing well. It was all in response to Patino's rant the other day. St. John's isn't doing well. I'd love to. If we go bring in 7 again, it's a gamble when you do that. Yeah. If you're going to build a program, you got to keep. I'm not saying we're going to keep all 5 or 6 of those guys that I just mentioned or whoever else I just mentioned, but we got to keep 3 or 4 of them and then build around those 3 or 4. And so that part that part's way more important to me, recruiting those guys and being good with those guys, than going out and finding some new shiny toy, because the ones we got are very good, and they know what we want, they know what we're doing. We don't have to reteach everything. We can just kind of pick up where we left off. So I look at it like our most important recruits are the guys we're with every day, and we want to make sure that those guys come back. And then what happens is, a lot of the times those guys have friends at other schools, and they reach out and say, hey, I'm thinking about getting the portal, and how was your experience at McNeese? And then they say, hey, they either had a good experience or a bad experience, and then that's how you end up getting guys anyway.
Yeah, I saw where, I think it was last week, where Wells was ranked the 14th or 13th most impactful transfer in the entire country.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive that you.
Not bad for a guy you didn't even know his name.
Oh, I shouldn't have brought it up.
Not bad for a guy you didn't even know his name.
I can't even talk about him now.
You didn't even know his name before the year. I had to tell you he was going to be a good player.
Yes, you did. But that you should have to tell me. I didn't go out and see him. I have seen the kid you brought from Providence, and he looks pretty good in practice.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He looks pretty good in practice. I was impressed with that. I'll say that.
Well, you don't average 6 a game in the Big East. If the Big East, a really good basketball conference.
I've heard that from some people.
Yeah, you don't do that in the Big East if you can't play a little bit.
Well, if I was listening to Patino, like you said, the Big East didn't sound that great.
No, his team in the Big East. No, he didn't say that. He said the Big East was good. His team wasn't.
No, I did hear him say that.
His team wasn't very good.
He had it pretty good at Iona.
Yeah.
Shows you that maybe moving up to the big school is not always the greatest thing in the world. I'm just saying. It's tough. So to throw in there, just let you know. All right, so as we move forward, I want to ask you this. How do you play the last 5, assuming you wrap it up?
Well, we're not assuming any of that.
Okay, but when you get to the point where you're a 1 or a 2, and you're going to get the double bye.
We want to get the 1.
But we're not the double bye thing.
There's no point of getting because the 1 plays
the early game.
The early game in this. The 1's at a huge advantage in the tournament now. because the one plays at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the semifinal, and the 2-3 games at like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And then you got to turn around and play the championship, I think, the next day at like 4 in the afternoon or something, right? So, I mean, like, you're at a huge advantage if you're the one. So
I think it's 5:30, 8:15, and then 4 o'clock the next day.
There you go. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're at 8:15, that game's not finishing before 10:30. You're not back to your hotel before midnight. You know, so I would much prefer to be the one. We're going to do everything we can to get that 1 seed. Once we get the 1 seed, then we'll worry about all these other scenarios you want to talk about.
Well,
but until we get there, that's all just in theory. Let's get the 1 seed, and then we'll figure it out.
I'll save it for another week.
Yeah, you can save it for another week when we have the 1 seed.
Assuming you ever come back to do the show.
Huh?
Assuming you come back to do the show.
I think they're going to make me come back.
Oh, you don't like being here?
I love being here. Can you not tell?
I don't try. I try to avoid. To avoid these thoughts.
We've got it. We can do an hour. I get up here, give you my best.
You give me a lot more than your best. You give me a lot more than your best. You give me a whole week of anxiety is what you give me. But you're on the. I want to point out that tonight on the show you are on Poke Nation. Yeah. You haven't been on Poke Nation in a while.
I know. I hadn't been on. I guess I got a face better for radio.
Well, it's just we try to give somebody else some love around here. You know, you can't be the whole show.
Yeah.
We had Christian on last week. He was really good.
Good.
We had video of him even dunking.
Shoe slams.
Shoe slams. Yeah, I like shoe slams. Hey, the guy has taken over ESPN.
I know, it's great.
Until this Monday night, he had taken over ESPN. How's that?
I mean, look. You know, I live my life, Jim. No publicity is bad publicity. That's how I've lived my life for 5 years. So, in my mind, the Southland had a damn good night Monday night again. I mean, shoot, think about this. Commerce is a transitional Division I, Incarnate Word. Shit, at least everybody knows they're Division I now. I mean, everybody's going, they're Division I, they're in the Southland Conference.
Everybody knows who they are, yes.
At least everybody knows. I know that's a minority, a dissenting opinion, but at least everybody knows who they are.
That's it. Well, I just thought, I guess they just figured that Shoemate couldn't be one of the top 10 on Monday night.
We still had one of the top 10 plays. Number 2 was Nick Caldwell at
yeah, I saw that.
At Southeastern, who's been playing as well as anybody in the league, by the way.
Has.
But he was like the number 2 player on
that was a nice dunk.
It got overshadowed a little bit.
Got overshadowed just a little bit in the league, but that was a nice dunk he had.
But a lot of people at least know where the Southland is now. People were Googling Southland Conference.
Oh, they are Googling it, yes. They're looking at one video, especially an awful lot. How's that? They're looking at one video an awful lot.
Yeah.
So. But you've had your issue with a handshake line, though. But nothing like that.
Where? When?
One time with Lafayette, didn't you?
Oh, that was a while ago. That was in the past.
And you guys were all friendly this year.
Yeah.
That was really sweet. You hugged and everything.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah. We sang Kumbaya after the game, roasted some s'mores. It was perfect.
And then you almost had a fight in that game. But you guys handled your bench better. That's one thing. The weird thing was there was nobody there to handle the bench.
Yeah, I agree. I still stick with it was a game management issue, not a player control issue.
Yeah, somebody quoted you today in that.
Oh, you did?
Yes. There's a whole big story up online on that, on the suspensions.
You agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think that there was nobody of an authority in there outside of the coaches, and they kind of do.
I know this. You come to one of our games. You want to rob a store in Lake Charles? You better do it during one of our games because we got like every sheriff's deputy in the parish sitting in the Legacy Center.
Well, sometimes they're sitting in the media room in the Legacy Center having lunch. I'll probably get a ticket on the way home now. Thank Will Wade as our guest this week once again. McNeese back in action Saturday at home against Incarnate Word, or what's left of Incarnate Word.
The suspensions aren't going to affect them that much.
And then to Lamar.
Yep.
And then into the final week of the season. Really, you'll go Saturday, Monday, Wednesday before it's over. This is going to end pretty quick, Coach.
I know.
We'll see you next week on the PokeCast on the Lake.